I want to make sure that people can move up here, that they can start families, that they feel supported, like they have the jobs that they need.
Minnesota Senator Grant Hauschild is launching a new initiative to hear from communities in the Northland ahead of the new legislative session next year. Good evening, I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thanks for joining us. It's called Northland Strong. Northern Minnesota Senator Grant Hauschild is launching a new initiative to help better connect him with the people he represents in St. Paul.
Northern News Now's Natalie Hepner talked to the senator and explains his push for better policies.
Focusing his political agenda.
This is really important because my district is the largest and most rural district in the state. It's the size of Massachusetts.
Minnesota State Senator Grant Hauschild represents everywhere from Hermantown to parts of the North Shore to Ely and more. The DFLer launched the Northland Strong Initiative Monday in an effort to focus his outreach and talk to community members before heading back to the Capitol for the legislative session in February.
So what are those unique resources and regulations that we can pass that will help our region most? And that's my job, is to represent our entire region and bring that rural perspective to St. Paul.
The initiative focuses on 5 categories: strong families, safe communities, outdoor heritage, innovative economy, and a state that works. Hauschild said the strong families area has its biggest focus, such as reducing the cost of childcare and increasing childcare options.
Our population has been stagnant here in the Northland. I want to make sure that people can move up here, that they can start families, that they feel supported, like they have the jobs that they need.
Part of the initiative includes roundtables that discuss the key issue areas and how the Northland community members are impacted. Hauschild is hosting 5 over the next few months across northern Minnesota.
The people on the ground that actually deal with these issues day in and day out, I want to hear from them what are the challenges they face in doing that work, whether it's a child care provider, a nursing home, a hospital administrator, an iron worker.
In Duluth, Natalie Hepner, Northern News Now.